Hello, sir. What is your name?
My name is Michael Van Goodwin.
Okay, you're a veteran?
Yes, I am. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm a disabled veteran.
And how old are you?
I'm 66 years old.
And you were here for the sweep on the 21st of January 2012 for the BLM Rangers and the QPD did a police raid on your camp.
That is correct.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yes, we were visiting. About a half a dozen of us were having a friendly visit in a friend's RV, and the Bureau of Land Management and law enforcement officers came into our camp at approximately 40 miles an hour.
And the speed limit here is 15.
That is correct.
Out here in the LTVA.
That is correct.
Here in the North La Posa long-term visitors area campground.
Right.
Okay.
When they stopped and got out of their vehicles, I was standing outside at that time, and I asked them why they had come speeding into our camp at 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
I was immediately placed under arrest for interfering with a police matter. How I interfered, I have no idea. I just asked them a simple question as to why they were speeding and coming in at a high rate of speed. To me, that was reckless endangerment. To the point to where it caused an immediate flashback, a Vietnam flashback. Pretty severe.
Okay, and so they came in here. Did they have any complaints against you guys?
None.
There was no complaint filed against you.
None.
And did they have any warrants to search your RVs and whatnot?
None whatsoever.
No. Okay.
We were informed we had another person here in the camp mentioned to them that they were violating our constitutional rights, at which point the BLM officer, I believe his name was M. Cain, C-A-I-N, the one in charge, and he told us all we had no rights whatsoever.
You have no rights.
No
You're
rights whatsoever.
Disabled American veterans who fought for your country during wartime, and you have no rights.
That's correct. That's what he said.
And so all of you guys here in this camp are all disabled American veterans. You're all over 60.
Correct.
In fact, one of you fellas is 80, isn't he?
That's correct. He is a Korean War era veteran. The rest of us were Vietnam War era veterans.
And he's the one they accused of child pornography or something like that, but they haven't filed any charges. They say he's under investigation.
Correct. He had pictures of his children and their children, his own grandchildren, on a boat that he had built himself out on the ocean. All of the children, all of the adults were wearing bathing suits, and he tried to make it seem like that was pornography. And it was not.
And then he also had like pictures of rainbow gatherings and stuff where you have like naked hippies running around and stuff.
Correct, that's normal, and that's not pornography.
So he is not pornography, and if they had, they would have charged him with it, but they just made the allegation to try and publicly discredit you fellas.
Correct. At that point I knew that their actions were totally politically motivated.
Politically motivated. How so?
And I'll tell you why I thought that. For 3 weeks prior to this, the BLM had been doing sweeps, taking political action against all the residents or people camping out around Quartzsite who were referred to as hippies or those who associated with hippies.
The rainbow people, as they call them here.
Yes.
And these rainbow people are the people who move here for the winter every year and do all the hard labor in this town.
These are the workers.
But they're all American citizens.
They are all loyal, patriotic Americans. I know most of them myself personally. I've met them. I've watched them work. They're hard-working. They come in and help people set their tents up, stock them, help tear them down when they're done. They just want to work, to have some kind of employment, to pay for their food and their stay here. And they can't find work anywhere else in the country. They come here because there are a lot of other of the Rainbow family hippies that are here that they know and can associate with and find a peaceful place to gather and reminisce and share family
and
values.
They spend their winter here, and they work very hard, moving around heavy rocks and things like that for the gem shows, taking down tents and putting them up at all the different shops and whatnot. They do most of the hard labor here in Quartzsite during the gem shows, don't they?
That's correct.
Okay. And so you think there's an effort by the chief of police and the town government to run the rainbow hippies out of Quartzsite?
Yes, I do. That is common knowledge.
Do you think that's what this sweep was about on the 21st?
Absolutely, no doubt whatsoever.
It was just to run the hippies out of here, and then
right. They referred to it themselves while they were here, the law enforcement officers, that this was Operation Get 'em Out.
Operation Get 'em Out.
Operation Get 'em Out.
So why would the chief of police of Quartzsite, Arizona, want to get the hippies who do all the hard labor here during the gem shows out?
That's a very, very easy one to answer. The hippies are very gentle, kind people that are all about peace and love. That represents, to me, a direct affront to the local chief of police, who is a violent person.
What about the election?
Oh, well, it's all to keep the hippies from registering to vote, from taking up residency, so that they can become a part of this community and make a difference in it.
So you figure maybe he doesn't want them voting in the upcoming election?
Oh, not at all. He doesn't. If the hippies were to take up residency and start voting in city council and stuff, he would lose his job, as would all
because they would vote against the incumbents.
They would vote against all of the incumbents.
Right.
They have shown themselves to be inhumane, to be instigative as to making trouble for people, violating the laws themselves that they have taken an oath to uphold.
Okay.
And they're violating their own oaths for the purpose of keeping and consolidating their own power structure.
Right.
Power to do what? Intimidate people, harass people who have not done anything except work hard.
Right. These people just came here so they could work hard. They sit out in the desert. Some of y'all are medical marijuana patients and have a little marijuana, but you're within the state and whatnot guidelines.
Correct.
Right. And so they just came out here and pretended like the Arizona medical marijuana law doesn't exist.
Correct.
And like the Constitution doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And they just came in and what you're telling me is that they came in here without warrants or without any complaints filed against you fellas.
Right. With the complete blessings of the chief and his deputies, who did absolutely nothing to restrain them from politically abusing the people here.
In fact, it was probably politically motivated attack on you fellas by the chief to keep all the rainbow hippies from voting in the upcoming election.
Absolutely. It's a concerted effort by the local chief of police and his deputies and the city council and Bureau of Land Management, law enforcement.
And what did they call it again? Their little operation here, their sweep?
Operation Get 'em Out.
Operation Get 'em Out. You heard them say that.
I heard them say that.
Wow.
You know, and to me that is so degrading. I'm a loyal, patriotic American, and I expect everybody to be that way, because it's a good thing to be.
Right. Every one of you fellas that I've met out here has been a veteran who served during wartime.
Right. We swore an oath to protect our country from all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
And even in your marijuana use, you have obeyed the state medical marijuana laws.
Correct. Absolutely.
So this is just harassment.
It is total harassment.
Okay,
it
well,
serves no purpose whatsoever but to get people out of this area who can make a difference politically for good.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Mike. I appreciate your time today.
You're certainly welcome.
Okay, and we'll try and get this out so people can get the truth heard on what really happened here.
That would be nice. People need to hear the truth.
Okay, thank you.
A lie can never stand against the truth. And what Chief Gilbert and the Bureau of Land Management have done here is based on nothing but lies. And their actions can never stand against the truth.
So you figure that press release that he put out is pretty much a bunch of lies.
It was. There was no child pornography. This is a man who had pictures, hundreds of pictures of events he's been to and people he has seen, his own grandchildren in bathing suits, and they want to say that was child pornography. No, the BLM officer, Officer Kane, was antagonistic, arrogant, did not care about the law or which law reigned supreme. While he was telling this, he had his hand on the butt of his pistol at all time.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 66.
And what did they do to you? They handcuffed you?
They handcuffed me, made me kneel on the ground, which was not only uncomfortable but degrading. I was a prisoner of war.
This ground is pretty rocky down here.
Yes, it is. It's uncomfortable.
Yes, sir.
I was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. This was no different. This was just like being a prisoner of war in Vietnam.
Is that right?
And they didn't care. They did not care that I was a disabled veteran, that I'd been a prisoner of war. They did not care at all.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for telling us the truth about what really happened here, because the chief of police and his cronies are trying to portray this as, you know, they busted some big drug cartel or something like that out here.
There was no drug cartel here at all. There were no sales going on. There was only consumers.
You just had some old veterans who happened to be medical marijuana patients.
Correct.
And they had their own personal medicine.
Correct.
That they're legally allowed to have. And that's what they arrested you all for.
That's what they were arrested for.
Well, thank you so much again for telling us what happened out here.
You're welcome.